Hi guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you a informational video on the Advent summer breeding event, or a guide, or tips, whatever you want to call it, whatever have you. Uh, and this is the video for part two. I'll probably do a part three. I skipped part one. For a number of reasons. The main one being I didn't like phase one. Like for me, like it started. It's one of those situations where it started on the wrong day, and you immediately feel like, oh, why is it get uh, worst timing ever? And like it just got worse and worse for. In all honesty, it got worse and worse for me because as soon as phase one ended, it didn't, like phase two didn't start immediately. It started on like Monday, I believed, right? Or yeah, it started Monday, and Sunday. Wasn't a thing, so you would think the phase two would start immediately. The day after the first one. No, no, it started Monday. Yeah. If you watched the last live stream I did for Monster Legends, you know that I was thinking it would be on Sunday, so I had my breeding temple fired up, and yeah. That happened. It's okay. I was gonna say it's okay, but I'd much rather have my thing active on an active day of the summer breeding event. Uh, okay, but ironic stuff aside, or the irony aside, let's talk about the monsters you may get. Now, the first three monsters are only relevant to those that bought them. You can breed Hydrock, Oser, and the metal VIP. I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but he's really, really good. And if you have him, you should be. In all honesty, you should really breed that one, the metal legendary one. You should totally get. You should get quite a few of if you can, because it's just a really great metal attacker. Special damage galore. These you can they've done this in the past before, but it's not as frequent nowadays. But you can breed VIPs. Now I'm gonna say this right off the bat. If you want to do like a mass breeding, for VIPs, if you got a lot of gems and you want to rank up your VIPs, this is the best time to do it, and I mean the best. It's today. You should be doing it today. You get three choices. I know it's like there's another part. There's a part three. It's gonna cost you more though. Why does it cost less during this time period? During this day, because of this. Lab Rush Hour. Make the most out of the Monster Cell week with the Lab Rush Hour. On the first day of the rush hour, hatching eggs, extracting cells take 50% less time. On the other 2 days, ranking up and crafting eggs will cost 50% less too. Okay, so the second part of that, there's no relevant to breeding, but the first part of that, hatching takes 50% less time. Sink that in for a sec. Breeding, just breeding stuff costs 50% less gems. You know what that means? Half as much cost for like things like not going your way. That means if you were trying to get let's say you're trying to get okay, a better example. This is a more popular monster. Let's say you're trying to get Razzle, right? And you got a lot of ironically, you got a lot of like something that takes several hours to hatch. You got like a genie. Let's say you got Haze. Haze that takes several hours to hatch. Yeah, this halves that time. So essentially, it halves the gem price you have to spend in order to get them out of the hatchery and all that jazz. That combined with if you still have your breeding temple open, or it's not like on cooldown, and it's at 100%, you have really good you have better less cost, more attempts to get a monster that you wanted or ranked up. Specifically if you're trying for a VIP monster. Now, in all honesty, in terms of popularity, Hydrox alright. The Metal Legendary is also is just really awesome. The O-Series doesn't get too much of a fan favorite because he's pretty much a nature legendary. He's not nothing different to his kind. He can do just AoE dazing. He's got a strong 50% single target heal and an AoE heal that does 35%. You can do the thing Judgment does with self regeneration, except his moves are actually special based. He has a special based 30% heal, and he has a special based regen. Now, in all honesty, I picked up between him. I have like Hydroct and Oser at the moment. I decided to breed another Oser because I wanted to do a supportive one. Right now, I have them fully. Like I have the 2 days moves on them, and the 2 healing moves. Or like the specifically on him. I kind of wanted to do the supportive build, but I obviously have. I only had one, so I wanted to do the better build for him, or the more healthier build. And then for this one, I want to try a supportive build and all that jazz. This also gives you the opportunity to get, since you're getting more than one of like a VIP you only had one of, you can spread out your builds. Like if you ever wanted to try a different build, bam, here's your opportunity. If you get one, you can make a different build. You can have a separate build. You know what I'm saying? So that's it's always of keen interest. So we're gonna stop top to bottom. We're gonna start start top to bottom, and we'll go on from there. Hydroct. Now Hydroct is honestly he's all right. He's got the really coolest thing about him. I think it's like either a 50% or 100% shield. That's a single target move. It's a self-applying, in all honesty. And it gives him freeze immunity and a shield. That's really good against his element because everything loves to freeze, and freeze immunity is one of the best immunities in the game, just because freezing is so common. It's chainable, it's powerful, and a lot of water monsters have freeze. Even also some monsters on rare occasions like Krampus and or Toymaster. Toymaster has a single target freeze. Is it only true single target? True. Is it not on AoE? Also true. Is it still a valuable skill? You bet it is. Anything that can free is valuable, especially if it's not like just a water monster. If it can free, oh man, it's really good, really good. He also has really strong 2 strong single target special damaging moves. Those are nice. He also has the 45 damage AoE. He holds a water-based one. Too bad it's not special. He could say he suffers from being old. Like some of the VIPs suffer from just being out, older. So some of the stats aren't as good as recent ones that have been out. But all that jazz, yeah. Is this monster? It's a good monster in all honesty. Any of these VIPs, if you get more than one VIP, it's totally worth it because A, it costs money, and 2, they have the bulwark trait, so there's a 50% chance likely not to get hit with anything. Frozen, stun, all that jazz. That's still a nice thing. They're nice monsters. Oser the Brave. Now I just pretty much technically got done talking about Oser the Brave. Surprisingly, he's the least popular one, but he also got a really good ultimate. He has a AoE stun for his ultimate, I do believe. I can't remember if it was nature-based or special-based. I want to say it's nature-based. I can't remember. Let's answer that curiosity. He's way down here. Never mind. I can't currently get to him because the building is. I'm currently building stuff, as you can see here. Looks like a spoiler. I'm already starting to hatch my Gangstersaurus and Sylvanas here. Since it's halftime, I wanted to take advantage of that. Just that halftime breeding thing, because I wanted to pick up just this Razul and Oser, or just in this event, and then I want to pick up Velgar in the next event. All that jazz. So I figured I should take advantage. I should take advantage of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not planning on doing a mass breeding. I just wanted to pick up Razul and then Oser and bam. And all that jazz. So yeah, that's a thing. I can't see if that's a special base thing, but odds are it probably is. I think all of them, maybe just for Velgar. I can't remember, but. Anyways, AoE stun, enough said. AoE stun ultimate, really great. Other thing he's capable of AoE dazing, and I guess the benefit with it, you being able to daze too, is that he can heal. That's another thing too. He can either be built to primarily focus on haze tanking, or he can focus on healing while also being a tad bit tanky too. For that, the universal support, for that support set, you would run the AoE daze, you run the AoE heal, you run the single target heal, and I think you run the regen move for the final move just to keep him more sustained. Next we have the Metal Legendary monster. He is capable of a lot of AoEs as far as I'm concerned, and he has a single target burn. He's got a lot of DOTs under his belt, I think. I think that was his case. Really strong AoEs. Beyond that, I can't remember what else he does. All I know is he's one of the better ones. He's one of the better VIPs, if not. It's probably either first or the best one or the second best one. People would probably say Zyla. People would probably say Zyla for the first one because it's just like upgraded Voltec. If you wanted to go for like non, extra turn shenanigans, he would either be like probably second. I think if Zyla didn't exist, just because of the absurdity she can do, I think the fire one, I can't remember his name, but that would be one of the more popular ones because he does so much damage. I'm pretty sure this is second. I'm pretty sure this Metal Legendary is second. I think he was. Not including Zyla. Again, not including Zyla. If we're not talking about, extra turn shenanigans, pretty much VIP Volte, theoretically speaking, yeah. Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is also a breeding. Now we're just getting to the, just the, things that aren't VIPs, exclusive stuff. Ophiuchus, if you actually managed to get Drek before this time, I'm actually still on Drek. Let me know how far you guys are in that event. For as long as I'm concerned, I'm only able to, yeah, I'm on Drek. I'd love to know what you guys are on in that event, Ophiuchus is a really good epic monster. If anything, he's just really absurd. He's like one of those monsters is like, what were they thinking? Who thought this was quote unquote fair? He is capable of he has an AoE possession, and it takes control of, if they get hit by it, it takes control of them for 2 turns. So you can imagine it's pretty much being mega stunned. You're either mega stunned or you're just gonna have to wait for that to burn out. There are very few monsters that can jump over that or get around that really easy. The 2 main legendaries I'm thinking on top of my head right now is Osteocast with the spammable shield move, and/or Hercule with his 1-turn cooldown, remove all negative effects move. That's also an extra turn. Both of those moves are also extra turn too. They're realistically speaking, at the moment, I think they're the very few ones that can crawl around it. I guess anything with an extra turn move can pretty much crawl around it. But those are the main ones I'm thinking on top of my head at the moment. Is Ophiuchus worth getting like fully ranked up, and is it also worth shoving full speedruns on it? Yeah, actually, yeah. A lot of people do actually shove X speedruns on this thing because it's just absurd control. You control them pretty much the whole game. Essentially, so as long as you can prevent the enemy denier from denying Ophiuchus, he can control the other 2 monsters no problem, as long as they're not immune to possession, which is usually, the damage dealer, which deals their if they lose their damage, you have essentially won. You control their damage. What can they do? They can't do anything. That's the true that's the true thing. So yeah. Ophiuchus can be really trolley pick at times. Beyond that, he is capable of quite a bit of DOTs. He can bleed, he can nightmare, and I think he poisoned. Yep, he poisoned too. That's with his ultimate, I believe. It causes 3 DOTs, and that's really strong. Really heavy stuff. I think I almost lost a game because I was just stockpiled with DOTs. Almost. The next monster is Obsidian. Now, Obsidian is just one of those monsters that people really wanted to come out right, but it came really wrong. Did it come out really wrong. So it's pretty much one of those monsters that had 4-move syndrome. Like you wanted to put 1 more move on it to make it roundable, but it just wouldn't allow it. The 4-move cap, bam. A lot of people hate 4-move syndrome. That's the term of wanting to put more than 4 moves on, but you can only put 4 moves on. So there's a lot of the time people just some people want it to have more than 4 moves just because that means they can do more stuff. Play around with do more absurd broken stuff. Others some actually should. If they could, they'd run better, or they would feel better. This monster doesn't feel like anything. if you remember Globe Rush in the Space Raiders event, basically Globe Rush is Obsidian done right. Basically, her essential staple or her thing, she was the first light monster to give a weakness to. Well, I guess not necessarily the first one. Invarv was the first one to give a light weakness, but we're talking in the sense of pure light. Like I think it was like an 80. It might have been 80 or 50%. I can't really remember on top of my head. All I know is it's just it was one of those monsters that didn't turn out right. One, because the weakness move didn't even do any damage. So you can imagine how stressful that is for a attacker that pretty much has to, was setting up its damage, and it doesn't do any initial damage. You know how awkward that is. That's really, really awkward. And Globe Rush, caught it. It was, again, Obsidian done right, and he's really strong. He's able to do the combo no problem because it does initial damage. Sometimes if the runes are right, you're carrying demise, the double damage alone with the that 35 AoE usually does the trick anyway. It's just he does so much damage. Obsidian, yeah, again with that, the flashbang move, that's what it's called. I think it's like, well, that's what the weakness it called was flashbang. So not only did it do no damage, she could also set up double damage and haste. I don't know if it set up precision. I can't remember on top of my head. But she also had a self-setup move. But it felt really wrong running it because the rest of her kit really wanted her to run the weakness move because she only carries a 45 damage special move. All the other moves are kind of strong, light-based moves, but they require you to run the thing that does no damage. it does none, and it's just a really awkward monster. If anything, I think that one move is something that deserves to be, if they ever make any improvements in the future for moves, that's one of them they should improve on. It just doesn't do any initial damage. It just doesn't do the monster any good. Okay, now we get pretty much come to one of the hugest ones of the three monsters that aren't VIPs, Razul. I have picked up Razul, as you can see right here. I put him right next to Barbatos. Know why? Because essentially they're the same thing. It's a huge debate the longest time in ML. Just general discussions, who's better, Razul or Barbatos. When you ask me that question, I consider it, we're asking me what milk is better, milk or milk. They do the same thing. I know that's a weird quote from me. What do you think of, this is what I think of when you're comparing these two monsters. I think of them as milk and, they're both milk. They're both whatever odd comparison you want to put in the comments. Put an odd comparison in the comments below, mine was milk and milk. Yours could be chocolate and chocolate, whatever. Just like two of the same words because they're basically the same monster, right? Razul carries a few things that are different than Barbatos, namely the fact he doesn't carry a 90 damage single target move. He carries a weaker AoE that's dark-based and gives nightmares. Barbatos holds the stronger AoE with the burning and its 35 special-based damage. But the key with Razul is he can give himself an extra turn, give himself triple damage, and essentially take 50% life from everybody on your team. So it's not the safest setup move in the world, but if you land the hit, you pretty much win. It pretty much wipes out the vast majority of monsters, assuming that your denier went first, assuming that it denied everything. Everything's odds are a lot of things are dead at this point. If there's a dark monster on the team, then there's no problem removing it. Simply because A, it's either like so low on health at this point, then your other monsters can pick up on it, or B, it's still denied. That's the key thing with Razul. Was he slower? I can't remember if he was slower or not. There are a few safety concerns with running Razul, because again, it's like Barbatos, but his payoff is huge if you do the stuff right. I can imagine a lot of people going for Razul because essentially he's better Barbatos to put on defense because of being immune to possession. He can't be possessed. A lot of people also think that's a non-concern because he has a chance to do his extra turn double damage move. yeah, that's a huge debate. That's a huge thing. But he has a, you know what, so what, where it's he's got one move out of four moves. They don't always over just like 1/3 of a chance because he has three other moves and all that jazz to do that. uh, but yeah, that's the hugest one. I think, in all honesty, that's the easiest between Diane's request for breeding and or Razul's. I think Razul's is a lot easier. Scrab is like if you own Scrab's a pretty easy. I guess it wasn't say pretty easy monster to get, but if you did the Illusion Islands, you should have this. It's really easy to pick up on. And Tartarus is also easy to pick up. In fact, he was actually Tartarus is currently the epic dungeon this week. It's probably because of that. So yeah, that was really, in all honesty, that was I think personally, just from the stuff I had, I thought that was the easiest one. A lot of people would probably say Obsidian Diane, just simply because Vlad was a really old monster. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did that Halloween event. I can't remember, but yeah, that's just the thing. So personally, again, this is just kind of a wrap up of this video here. Personally, if you wanted to rank up, in all honesty, anything from this list, now's the time to do. I mean, this is the cheapest, and I mean the cheapest, breeding, if you wanted to rank up a monster, this is the time to do it. Do it today. Do it as of the day of watching this video, or just assuming you're watching it as of the day it's posted, not like several days later, and you're gonna be like, oh, but it's not working because the event, that time is over. The hatching time, I have 50% less hatching time, is over, and all of that jazz. Let me know how you guys are doing in the breeding event so far. I got a Pinky Flash, I picked up a Oser, and I picked up a Razul. Let me know how you guys are doing. So yeah, I'm Did the Awesome. I'll catch you guys later.